He looked like a harmless old man, frail, soft-spoken, almost gentle. But Albert Fish was no ordinary man. He was a monster, a real-life boogeyman whose crimes were so disturbing, even the most hardened detectives were left shaken. This is the terrifying true story of Albert Fish, the sadistic serial killer who preyed on children and sent a letter so horrifying, it led to his downfall. Born in 1870, Albert Fish had a childhood drenched in pain. After his father died, his mother placed him in an orphanage, a place filled with cruel punishments. But young Albert wasn't like the other children. He didn't just fear the beatings. He enjoyed them. With every lash of the whip, something inside him twisted. By the time he was an adult, pain and pleasure had become one and the same. As Fish grew older, his disturbing fantasies only grew darker. He developed a taste for self-inflicted pain, sticking needles into his groin and whipping himself with nail-studded paddles. But soon, hurting himself wasn't enough. He needed more. He needed victims. He began stalking children, luring them with kindness, hiding the true darkness within him. He would later confess to murdering and eating multiple children. But two cases stand out as his most horrifying crimes. 1924. Staten Island. 8-year-old Francis McDonnell was playing outside when he vanished. Hours later, his body was found in the woods, strangled with his own suspenders. Witnesses recalled seeing a strange, elderly man watching the children. They called him the Gray Man. 1927. Billy Gaffney, only 4 years old, was playing in a hallway when he disappeared. His last playmate said a man had taken him. When asked who, the child gave an answer that sent shivers down the spines of investigators. The Boogeyman. Billy was never seen again. But years later, Albert Fish confessed, describing in chilling detail how he had tortured, killed, and eaten the boy. But the crime that finally led to his capture was the case of Grace Budd. June 3, 1928. Albert Fish visited the Budd family, pretending to be a kind old man looking for a farmhand. But when he saw their 10-year-old daughter, Grace, his plans changed. He convinced her parents to let him take her to a birthday party. Except, there was no party. For 6 years, the Budd family had no answers. Until 1934, when Albert Fish made a fatal mistake. He sent a letter to Grace's mother, detailing in horrifying detail how he had killed, dismembered, and eaten her child. The letter was so disturbing that even seasoned detectives felt physically ill. I choked her to death. Then I cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to my rooms, cook it, and eat it. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. The letter led police straight to Albert Fish. When they arrested him, he showed no remorse. In fact, he seemed to enjoy talking about his crimes. He even told detectives about the 29 needles lodged inside his own body. X-rays later confirmed he wasn't lying. During his trial, Fish pleaded insanity, but the jury wasn't convinced. He was sentenced to death by electric chair. On January 16, 1936, at Sing Sing prison, Albert Fish was executed. His final words? "I don't even know why I'm here." Albert Fish may be gone, but his story remains one of the most horrifying in true crime history. A reminder that sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't in nightmares. They walk among us, hiding in plain sight.